Let's look at the tale of the tape for Felix Trinidad versus William Joppy. Trinidad, with all of his accomplishments, still 28 years old, 2 years younger than Joppy. A 1-inch height advantage for Trinidad, a 2-inch reach advantage for Trinidad. They both weighed in under the 160-pound limit, and tonight, unofficially, according to our scale, Tito will enter at 165, Joppy 5 pounds heavier. Punch stat numbers, Larry.
Total punches, power punches, the recent fights. You can see Joppy, the much busier fighter, Trinidad resourceful and accurate. How busy can Joppy be against the big punching Trinidad? Power punches, roughly the same numbers.
And rules of the bout with our unofficial ringside scorer, Harold Letterman.
The Felix Tito Trinidad William Joppy fight is scheduled for 12 rounds using the unified rules of the Association of Boxing Commissions. There is no standing 8 count. The 3 knockdown rule. Only the referee can stop the fight, and you cannot be saved by the bell in any round, including the 12th and final round. Jim.
Felix Trinidad enters first because it is Joppy who is the middleweight title holder in this bout.
You're earlier in mentioning some.
The banner says, Roy Jones, you're next. Speculation that Trinidad, if he wins this tournament and adds the middleweight title to his collection, will look up 15 pounds toward Roy Jones and try to tempt Jones into a fight at 168 pounds.
In New York call themselves New Yorkians.
They have their own parade every year, the Puerto Rican Day celebration, but there's no bigger celebration ever in New York for Puerto Ricans than the one that takes place tonight in honor of Felix Tito Trinidad. In advance to the crowd, which he knows will be wildly supportive of him during the combat.
Never seen a man so proud of his country.
Record for Felix Trinidad, 39 wins, no losses, no draws, 32 by KOs, a half dozen times down in the early rounds, and then back up to knock out his opponent and win the fight. Let's go to Jimmy Lennon Jr. to introduce national anthems.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we continue with our action at this time, I'd like to ask you to rise for the singing of the national anthems. In the ring, ladies and gentlemen, first to lead us in the national anthem of Puerto Rico, please welcome recording artist Ambas.
Placido. olvidó las olas a sus pies cuando a sus playas llegó Colón, exclamó lleno de admiración: esta es la linda tierra que busco yo. Es Borinquen la hija del mar y el sol, 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 del mar y el sol. Vieques, paz para Vieques.
And ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing as we now present the national anthem of the United States. Please welcome singing sensation Margot Lenski.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free, the home of God, the
Hailing as he does from Washington, D.C., William Joppy has chosen a Yankee Doodle Dandy theme for his entrance into the ring. The keynote here tonight is patriotism.
You know, you understand the fervor and enthusiasm and passion of the Puerto Rican fans for their fighter. But that was an unworthy performance during the national anthem.
Heavyweight John Ruiz was allowed to walk into the ring with Vito Trinidad. Now we're told heavyweight champion Asim Rahman has momentarily been denied the right to walk in with William Joppy. Now they've got that straightened out. Rahman will walk in carrying Joppy's middleweight title belt. And here they come. Now once again, security forces are saying to Rahman that he can't walk in with Joppy. Joppy and his crowd want to hear none of it. Joppy is co-managed by the same two managers who manage Rahman, Stan Hoffman and Steve Nelson. And now here he comes. Patriotic theme for William Joppy, Stars and Stripes, on his way into the ring for the Washington, D.C. native.
I love the name Joppy. Never heard the name Joppy before William Joppy came along.
Some fans just grabbed him and tried to give him a big physical hug as he's walking into the ring. The last thing Joppy wants at this moment is to need to wrestle his way through the crowd. But he makes it cleanly and goes on in. The overall record for William Joppy, a draw long ago, early in his career. The one loss in 1997 was to Julio Cesar Green right here in Madison Square Garden, his only previous appearance here. Joppy says, I'm glad to be coming back to New York. I have nothing but bad memories. Now I'll have only good ones after I beat Trinidad. So both fighters are in the ring. And now let's go up to ring announcer Jimmy Lennon Jr. for the official introduction.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to you, and we welcome you to the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden in New York City, for the featured bout of the evening, the second round in the World Middleweight Championship Series, and it's all brought to you by Don King Productions in association with Madison Square Garden, TVKO, and Budweiser, the undisputed king of beers. This bout coming away is sanctioned by the World Boxing Association, President Gilberto Mendoza, Supervisor Aurelio Fiengo, along with the New York State Athletic Commission, the Chairman Mel Southard, Commissioners Jerome Becker and Mark Hornstein. Introducing to you our three judges scoring this bout from ringside. From Johannesburg, South Africa, Stanley Christodoulou. From Montreal, Quebec, Canada, Guy Jutras. And from Ardsley, New York, Malvina Lathan. And the third man to the ring, our referee in charge of this bout, working in this, his 16th world title bout, Arthur Mercanti. All right, fans, here we go with our main event of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing for the WBA Middleweight Championship of the World. And now, ladies and gentlemen in attendance and boxing fans joining us around the world, live from Madison Square Garden, it's time for the main event of the evening. Introducing to you first the challenger on my left, fighting out of the blue corner, entering the ring wearing red trunks with blue and white trim, hailing from and representing Coupe Alto, Puerto Rico. He weighed in at 159 1/4 pounds, undefeated in his campaign to the ring with 39 wins, no losses, 32 big wins coming by way of knockout. Here is the four-time world champion who currently holds the IBF and WBA super welterweight crowns. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome El Gran Campeón Puertorriqueño, introducing Felix Tito Trinidad. Opponent across the ring is the defending world champion on my right, fighting out of the red corner, entering the ring wearing red, white, and blue trunks, fighting out of Seabrook by way of Lincoln Park, Maryland. He weighed in at a ready 158 3/4 pounds. His record stands at 32 wins, 1 loss and 1 draw, with 24 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight he is making the 8th defense of his title. Here is the two-time and current WBA middleweight champion of the world, introducing William Joppy. And once again, a referee in charge, Arthur Mercanti, now to give instructions, 12 rounds of boxing schedule.
Good evening, Felix. Good evening, William. You both received the rules earlier in the night by the New York State Athletic Commission. I expect a nice, clean fight. Touch gloves. Good luck to the both of you.
Will Joppy try to impose his presumed strength? on Trinidad. Trinidad says calling out the devil is one thing, facing him is another. The devil will be in the details of this fight.
William Joppy has never been showcased under such hot lights, under such an intense microscope. Felix Trinidad has spent the last few years of his career fighting in situations just like this one. Trinidad, traditionally a slow starter, although in his last fight, he knocked Vargas down twice in the first round. Joppy gets in the first big blow, a right hand to the side of Trinidad's cheek.
Trinidad is starting out the counter puncher tonight. You know, he's a good, accurate puncher. If he stands back, hold his ground, he can sharp shoot some good overhand right. And that's what Joppy doesn't want to do, is to run into Trinidad. You better make Trinidad come to you.
William Joppy has a very authoritative jab. If he's able to land it early, he could establish control of the tempo in the fight. If Trinidad is able to slip around that jab, functional control could go to him.
Joppy has already established, you better move away from me. I'm in charge here tonight.
Joppy sticking his jab right into the middle of Trinidad's face.
Joppy throws his right hand and comes right back to the left jab. Basic boxing.
Joppy looks anything but tight and tentative in this, his first mega bout. If anything, he's the looser of the two.
Trying to let Trinidad know who the bigger man is, who the stronger man is. He's going straight to him, particularly with that heavy jab.
Now Trinidad tries his own jab and sneaks in a little left hook.
No matter how big you are, you just don't want to run and chase a puncher down. Trinidad can get on the right foot and level you out.
There's a big left hook from Tito Trinidad.
Landed on the arm. Good right hand.
Right hand lands again. And the pro-Trinidad crowd comes to life.
Terrific and perhaps telling first round.
Joppy goes down on a barrage of left hooks. 6, 7, 8. So just as he floored Vargas in the first round, so too does Trinidad floored Joppy in round one. And Joppy wrestles his way to the bell.
Corner about 20 seconds late with their stool.
Joppy still hasn't sat down. Let's take a look at the knockdown, Larry.
After controlling the first part of the round, Joppy walks into the Trinidad artillery, and down he goes. The big left hook, finishing that barrage. How much recuperative power does Joppy have left?
George, I never cease to be amazed at the number of fighters who think they can stand in front of Felix Trinidad and get away with it.
This may be the biggest benefit for Joppy, the exercise of being a middleweight, his ability to recuperate.
Only the second time that Joppy has been knocked down. But now he knows why Felix Trinidad is regarded as being so special.
Once again, Trinidad is circling Joppy, giving him the impression that he's moving away. And Joppy's better be careful, because Trinidad likes to get up on that right foot and just throw that thing like a baseball pitcher, that right hand.
Let's remember, Vargas got up from 2 knockdowns in the first round and knocked Trinidad down himself in the 4th round. Joppy not yielding.
Trinidad lands the right hand shot.
Joppy's got to keep his hands up. Whatever you do, finish with your hands back in position. Trinidad has only been catching him while his hands are down. Drops his hand just a little too much.
Joppy's still able to land his jab. It may be fool's gold if it tempts him to into engaging with Trinidad again.
Pretty good for Joppy because he was knocked down because of dropping his hand.
Joppy reaching, trying to land the big right hand. Now pops Trinidad twice with the jab.
You got to make that big punch of Trinidad work for what he gets. Throw away some of that power. Don't go into him for nothing.
Still landing the jab, and now Trinidad flicks his own jab and pops Joppy twice.
Joppy did something very good this time. He moved to the left, and then he came back and moved to Trinidad's right. What you got to do, keep moving.
Hard right hand by Trinidad.
Trinidad doesn't seem to be concerned with Joppy's punching power at all. He's just letting everything go.
Joppy's going to get him. He's got to be on the move. Don't stand in front of this puncher.
Left hook by Joppy, partially blocked. Trinidad lands his left twice. Joppy with his hands down again. Now he gets him up. Crowd chanting for Trinidad. And as we go to Felix Trinidad's corner, where his father speaks to him in Spanish, our translator is Ray Torres.
How do you feel? Raise your hand. Take a deep breath, real deep. Tito, are you feeling well? Tito, keep your hands up. You're okay. Everything's fine. Let's take some water. Give him some water. Who's got the mouthpiece? Let's get the spit bucket here.
What combination room? Gotta get tough now. You gotta get tough now. You can beat this one.
By CompuBox numbers in the second round, William Joppy threw 50 jabs and landed 18 of them. Clearly, the jab is the weapon he hopes to rely on to win the fight tonight.
Watch your head.
Trinidad threw his own jab 23 times in the second round and landed 16 of them. So far, Joppy has been too easy a target for Trinidad.
Now Joppy's starting his jab, the jab that we expected in the first round. With Trinidad playing the counterpunch.
Hard right hand over the top by Trinidad. McCanty Jr. told Trinidad to watch his elbows. There are subtle ways of roughing up an opponent, and Felix is a master of most, if not all.
Watch the elbow.
Low blow by Trinidad there. McCanty Jr. steps in and warns him about that. So now he's been warned twice about the elbows and once about the low blows, and we're only in round 3.
Joppy has said that he would take the matter into his own hands if Trinidad punched low. There it was. There's blood apparently coming from Trinidad's nose.
Yeah, when you got a lot of jabs like that, you're going to see a lot of blood from the nose. A lot of jabs being thrown when it goes right to the nose. Joffrey has already seen that he's able to get up from Trinidad's punch. Trinidad didn't have the stamina to finish him in that round.
Well, remember, not only did Vargas come back to knock Trinidad down in the fourth after seemingly being gone from the fight in the first round, but he seized functional control of the fight for a few rounds, 3, 4, and 5. Maybe Joppy can pull the same table-turning act here. He's working that jab and throwing a wider variety of punches than does Trinidad. Right cross landed for Joppy. Not hard, but he made contact.
Trinidad seems to be having a little trouble breathing through that bloody nose.
Like those elbows, gentlemen.
Joppy throwing more punches and landing more so far in round 3. Trinidad trying to measure him for another big left hook.
Break! Break!
It seems that in this round, Joppy has found something, a way to go at Trinidad with his jab.
And Mercanti risking life and limb to pull him apart at the end of the third.
Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath.
You download the dog. Give me that body and the head going, okay? You gotta keep them hands going. When you get it close, up the middle. Don't let him punch first. When you get it close, punch right off. Turn them shoulders. Turn them shoulders. Okay. Take it easy, Tito. And don't get over anxious.
Estamos bien, estamos bien.
We're okay.
Peleámele cerca, está bien, Tito. Pero no me
Fight them up close, but don't lower your hand. You gotta throw the left hook to the body.
Úsalo el cuerpo.
Throw the left hook to the body. All right, Tito?
Astonishing CompuBox numbers in the third round. William Joppy in round 3 by CompuBox estimate threw 65 jabs, landed 27 of them, threw 116 punches overall. I sincerely doubt that any opponent has ever thrown 116 punches against Felix Trinidad in a single round.
He's keeping Trinidad very, very busy.
Watch out.
He can fight 4 rounds like the last one. The championship rounds will be very important in this fight.
Harold Letterman, how do you have it scored through 3?
Look at Jim, 2 rounds to 1, 29-27, Tito Trinidad. Jim, he gets an extra point at the end, for the knockout of round 1. William Joppy too busy in round 3. He wins that one. Jim, if you're looking for more movement for Joppy, this ring is spongy. The padding underneath the canvas has never been used before, and it's a very slow, spongy ring.
Trinidad with 2 hard right hands now, stopping Joppy in his tracks. Big left hook. Second knockdown of the fight. Joppy tremendously hurt by this fight.
6, 7, 8.
Convinces Mercanti he can go on.
He's in with the greatest finisher in the game. He has almost 2 minutes to finish him.
Still in deep trouble, grabbing and holding on.
Where am I? Where am I? Joppy is thinking.
Very professional job of grabbing and holding so far. Pro Trinidad crowd boos. Now Felix gets a shot, goes to the body with the left hand.
You just got to give Trinidad a little more respect. You can't go toe-to-toe with him.
Nobody can.
Joppy's making a mistake. Don't go to toe-to-toe with him. Move.
Trinidad digs the left hook to the body, trying to set up another big one upstairs. Missed with the right. And Joppy's able to grab on again.
The plain fact of the matter in this fight is Joppy has landed some good solid punches. He has not hurt Trinidad as badly as Trinidad has hurt him.
Absolutely right.
Trinidad is missing a lot of shots. And you got to hope that if Joppy can hold on for a couple of rounds, it'll come back to haunt him.
Joppy is still wobbling from the punch that floored him early in the round. It was a sensational left hook shot.
the tooth right hands hurt him.
The referee is looking really good now.
Give William Joppy credit. He's standing up to the most deadly puncher in the game.
All the courage in the world.
Well, he's not really standing up, Harry.
He's wobbling up to him.
He's wobbling.
And he makes it out of the round. What a gutty effort by William Joppy.
Why don't you move your head? You get hit, but you move there. Your head is not moving. Turn around. The head is not moving. You stand in front of your head, keep moving. You get down and come away the ball. You're not going to the mat at all. All right? Keep your head moving. Roll it. With no wrist. You understand? Take your leg on. Use your legs. Watch it, okay?
What makes Trinidad is he's more than a one-handed puncher. He can hurt you with both hands, as he did there, and that led to the left hand. That led to the rest of that round, with Joppy desperately trying to survive and succeeding only at that.
Shades of Mike Tyson against Trevor Burbank, because Joppy was down twice on that left hand. Got up, fell down again, finally got up and stayed up. Gutty effort by Joppy just to make it out of round 4. But he's been down twice in the fight.
He still continues to follow Trinidad around.
And stand in front of him.
Jim, that's the kind of fighter he is. That's the kind of fighter that got him to this point. He can't change his way of fighting. He's got to be, either he's going to be stronger than Trinidad, or Trinidad is going to be stronger than him. So far, we have the answer.
Trinidad doesn't look to hit you on the chin. He'll take anything, the side of the head, the ear, top of the head, under the head.
Well, we've seen him stop fighters with body punches as well.
He'll take any shot that you let him have.
Once again, Joppy building up a huge activity level in round 5. Remember, in round 3, he threw 116 punches. CompuBox confirms that's the most ever thrown against Trinidad in a single round of a fight they tracked.
Tito, watch the elbow. Come on now.
Never been a champion for so long who continues to work hard in the gym. Road work, as Trinidad does. Continues to have the same desire to stay in shape.
Yeah, he loves it.
Simple man, simple life, great boxing style, left hook, right cross, Joppy's in trouble again. Trinidad throwing every shot with murderous intent.
He loves the knockout, he says.
Joppy just believes that he can do it. Take it and come back.
Joppy trading shots toe-to-toe with Trinidad.
This is the way they used to do it. Fight wasn't over until it was over. Joppy went down to the body.
He's going to let William Joppy continue. Felix Trinidad with a sensational knockout. Sensational performance by the greatest finisher in the sport. Vargas did in December. William Joppy made the mistake of thinking that he could trade punches with Felix Trinidad.
You just can't follow a puncher like that around. Joppy made the mistake in the first round to chase him, and he's tasted of that leather a lot sooner than he would have if he'd been a little more elusive.
Larry, here's a look at the knockout, and it came on right-hand punches this time.
Tito Trinidad may be the deadliest puncher in these divisions since Ray Robinson. He's like a pinpoint boxer who can thread the needle, but he does it with power.
I got no arguments with that. He can be mentioned right along with Ray Robinson.
Well, you talk about using your punches efficiently. By CompuBox numbers in the fight, Felix Trinidad landed 108 of 191, 57%, most of them power shots. Just a devastating performance against an outstanding fighter.
He said before the fight, if Joppy comes to the fight, comes to fight, it has to be a knockout. And he's right.
Let's go up to ring announcer Jimmy Lennon Jr. for the official particulars on Trinidad's sensational TKO.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the time of 2 minutes, 25 seconds in round number 5. Our referee in charge, Arthur Mercanti, stops the contest. The winner by way of technical knockout, and he is the new WBA middleweight champion of the world, el gran campeón puertorriqueño, Felix Tito Trinidad.
So Trinidad's 40th victory, the 33rd by knockout, his 20th win in a championship fight. Now half the fights in his career have been title fights. An incredible journey, George.
He can be mentioned now right along with all of the previous middleweight greats. He's done it. He showed me. He made a believer out of me.
Well, he's got another fight coming up against a great fighter named Bernard Hopkins in September, and that will give him another chance to add to his already glorious credentials. Felix Trinidad continues to make a mark on history. It's the nature of the sport that the more punches you throw, the more vulnerable you are to the incoming from your opponent. 400. Joppy rolled the dice tonight. He threw 400 punches in 5 rounds. That's a tremendous output, but it made it possible for Felix Trinidad to land at a 57% connect rate. And with Trinidad throwing the kinds of punches he throws, you simply cannot allow that to happen. Trinidad landing more than half his jabs, though he scarcely needed them, because Joppy, by throwing 225 jabs, gave Trinidad plenty of opportunities to counter with power stuff.
Everything you want in a middleweight fighter, this guy's got it.
Power punches, devastating as always for Trinidad, 80 out of 140, nearly 60%. Joppy's a good fighter, but nobody in the sport weathers that storm if Trinidad gets the chance to land like that.
Power punches, 57%, my goodness.
Larry Merchant stands by with the truly great Felix Tito Trinidad.
Felix, congratulations.
Felicidades, Tito.
Felix, were you surprised that he came at you so aggressively?
¿Te sorprendió que salió tan agresivo?
Bueno, yo sabía que él, por él querer imponer su peso, quería sorprenderme, pero no fue así.
I knew he was going to do that. He wanted to impose his will and his weight, but it wasn't that way. He couldn't do that.
How soon did you realize that you're at least as strong as him?
¿Qué tan pronto supiste tú que tú eres tan igual de fuerte que él?
Yo siempre lo dije, que yo soy un peso mediano, y lo acabo de demostrar en la noche de hoy. Gracias a Dios por todo eso.
I've always said I was a middleweight, and I proved it tonight. I'm a real, true middleweight.
The questions in this fight were, could a real middleweight take your punch? Could you take a real middleweight punches?
La pregunta en esta pelea eran que si un peso mediano de verdad podía aguantar tu golpe, y que si tú podías aguantar los golpes de un mediano legítimo.
Eso era una buena pregunta, pero ustedes vieron, y le doy gracias a HBO, ustedes vieron que yo soy un peso mediano, y al mejor promotor Don King, yo soy un peso mediano de verdad, y lo demostré en el día de hoy.
You saw that tonight, that I'm a real true middleweight, and thanks to Don King, I won.
Were you surprised that he was able to continue after the early knockdowns?
¿Te sorprendió que él pudo continuar después de que lo tumbaron varias veces?
Bueno, él vino en una gran condición y eso hay personas cuando vienen con buena condición aguantan bastante golpe, pero yo sabía que yo lo iba a noquear.
It kind of surprised me, but he came in good condition like I knew he would. Great fighters like him come in good condition to withstand all this, but I knew I was going to do it.
Can we assume from this victory that you will give up your junior middleweight titles?
Podemos asumir ahora que con esta victoria tú vas a dejar los pesos de junior.
Es posible, eso nos reunimos con el promotor Don King, con mi padre, y veremos qué vamos a hacer con los títulos medianos.
It's very possible. We got to meet with Don King, the best promoter, and my dad, and we'll see what happens.
Do you want to go down below 160 pounds to fight again, or are you happy at this weight?
¿Tú quieres bajar esto menos de las 170 libras o estás contento y feliz en este peso?
No, estoy feliz en este peso. El peso lo dialogamos con el Don King, con mi padre, pero yo creo que ya soy campeón mediano y para la gloria de Puerto Rico.
I'm happy with the 160-pound weight. We're going to again talk to my promoter, and then I'm happy and I'm staying there.
All right, talk to us about Bernard Hopkins. Will Hopkins be a more difficult opponent because he is more versatile than Joppy?
Dinos algo de Hopkins. ¿Tú crees que él va a ser más difícil porque tiene más versatilidad que Joppy? ¿Qué dinos algo de él?
Bueno, Hopkins, yo sé que él va a venir bien preparado para pelear conmigo. Yo estoy seguro que si cuando yo le pongo mi mano, la pelea se va a ganar por nocaut también.
I know Hopkins is going to come well prepared to fight with me, but once I hit him, the fight's going to be over.
Do you feel that you have to beat Hopkins to really feel that you are the one middleweight champion?
¿Tú sientes que tienes que ganarle a Hopkins para comprobar y probar de una vez que tú sí eres el mejor campeón mediano que hay?
Bueno, ya le acabo de ganar para mí el mejor campeón. Y si hay que hacerlo, voy a noquear a Bernard Hopkins y así comprobar que soy el mejor peleador del mundo y el mejor peso mediano.
It really doesn't matter. I beat the best middleweight tonight. Now I am the best. If I got to beat Hopkins to prove it, I'm going to prove that I am the best middleweight.
Así vamos a hacer.
Thank you very much. Congratulations again, Tito.
¡Viva Puerto Rico!
Quiero enviar un mensaje a todas las madres puertorriqueñas, especialmente a mi esposa, a mi madre Irma, que está conmigo, y que viva Puerto Rico siempre. Mañana vamos a celebrar, y saludo también a Eric Quiñones, Miss Universe 2001. Gracias a todos.
I want to send a special Mother's Day to my mother, my wife, and all the Puerto Rican mothers. Tomorrow we're having a celebration in Puerto Rico, and we want to congratulate Miss Universe, Miss Puerto Rico.
It's already Mother's Day, Tito.
It's okay. Congratulations. Gracias, mi gente. Los quiero mucho, Puerto Rico. Mañana vamos a celebrar en grande. Los espero en el aeropuerto Luis Muñoz Marín. Besos para todas las madres.
Thank you, Puerto Rico. We're going to see each other tomorrow. We'll see you. We love you all.
Thank you, Tito. All right, back to you, Jim.
All right, thank you, Larry. So you can lay aside the question of whether moving up in middleweight is a topic for Felix Trinidad. It poses no problem whatsoever as he goes into the ring against a strong middleweight opponent and blows him away with the same power punches that terrorized the 147 and 154-pound divisions. George, it started with the left hook and continued in the fourth round.
It started with stupidity by Joppy chasing around a puncher. That's what started in one punch. Whenever you swing something, a hook, a right hand, it would always be there. Boom, there you go to hook. It was a matter of like a table set for a king. Everything you want on the table was there.
And when Joppy finally held his right hand higher to try to guard against the left hook, Trinidad came back with a series of right-hand bombs in round 5 to seal the deal. Question, you've seen Bernard Hopkins, you know his game. Does he have enough variety to stand at angles, never be in front of Trinidad, and do damage? It looks to me like that's the only way to fight him.
I have a profound answer to that. No.
It's quick, too. A very quick answer. So Felix Trinidad moves to 40 wins, no losses. George, I think every time he moves up in weight, he gets a little stronger on his feet, a little more stable in there.
Yeah, and he sort of reminds you of a Bobby Foster now. He's not the thicker, seems to sit right there and have the power in those arms. He don't have a lot of muscular show off or nothing, but he has the power right there in front of it.
We've talked about punching power and where it comes from, and clearly part of it is, do you commit to the punches? Nobody commits to the power punches like this guy, right?
You know, talk about Happy Mother's Day. That mother he has evidently has a lot to do with that because she gave it to him at birth. It's stuck in there like something I haven't seen in a long time. He's got that punch.
All right, quickly now, Larry Merchant with a report from William Joppy's locker room.
Jim, we're here in William Joppy's locker room. He's understandably disappointed. He's in a terrific physical fight. He put up a valiant effort, now just pulling himself together, and we're going to try to interview him briefly to see what he can tell us about the fight and Felix Trinidad. William, you were in there with a guy who moved up from welterweight, but he sure looked like a middleweight tonight.
Yeah, he has a hell of a punch. I underestimate him. Just like I said, he did what he had to do tonight. And before I underestimated him, I didn't think his punching power was that devastating, but it was. And I couldn't come back from it. He was relentless, and he was a better man tonight. I'll be back, though.
Did you feel that you had to attack him as you did, particularly with the jab, because that was your best chance?
Not really. You know, I know that he's vulnerable to a left hook, just like he throws one. But that's my game plan. You know, you seen me fight before. I always come out with, jabs like I do.
So, going straight at him, you felt you're the stronger guy, you got the better jab. I'm going to put him on the defensive, but that also gave him opportunities to nail you, and his punching power was simply bigger than you expected.
Yeah, exactly. He was, his punching power was devastating, I must say. But like I said, I'll be back. He was a better man tonight. I underestimated him, and he showed me something different.
Bernard Hopkins, a different fighter than you, will fight a different kind of fight. Can he avoid those heavy punches? Does he have some chance in the way he fights against Felix Trinidad?
Yeah, I mean, he could, after seeing this fight or watching Trinidad's past fights, he could have studied him, and he might come out different September 15th.
Thank you very much, William. Thank you. Back to you, Jim.
All right, so the first two fights of the Middleweight World Championship Unification Series are now in the books. And Felix Trinidad has become a middleweight title holder, as is the veteran Bernard Hopkins. And now they will meet, presumably September 15 here in Madison Square Garden, sometime in the fall at least, on TVKO pay-per-view. This man, Bernard Hopkins, and Felix Trinidad will settle the middleweight issue. For the moment, this is the happiest man in the arena because he just got the chance to collect an extra 7 figures for the privilege of fighting Trinidad instead of Joppy. What are the important lessons for you to take away from what you saw in the ring?
Exactly. I feel like I just hit the lottery, even though I ain't win the tournament yet. I've seen a lot of good and bad. Trinidad would never be able to do the things he did to me that he did to Joppy. He had the perfect opponent, the perfect style, a shorter guy, a guy that's not a really big puncher, and Trinidad capitalized on it. He fought a great fight.
You've been saying all along that Trinidad's style will be easier for you in the final than Joppy's would have been. Why?
One is because Joppy is a slap you type of guy, a cutie. Trinidad fights just like it is. He's right there like an alley fight. That's what I like. He's not backing up, and he's going to go against mano to mano. He's going to test his will against yours. That's the type of fight I am, that Philly fighter. There's going to be a lot of infighting with me in Trinidad, and we're going to see who's going to back up.
Bernard, Fernando Vargas squared off and traded with him, paid a big price. Joppy decided to square off and trade with him, paid a big price. You going to square off and trade with him?
I'll do anything that I have to do to win the fight, and I believe that's one of the ways that I will be successful. It's because these guys did square off and traded with him, but they left their defense shattered, down at their waist, up high or up low. They didn't really try to set their will, put their will on Trinidad, and Trinidad knew that these guys wasn't physically strong as he was. I'm a physically strong middleweight. I can punch. People know I can take a punch. And I got speed, and I got a little movement to give him problems. Trinidad is going to realize that I'm a true middleweight, 6 foot tall, just as well as he is, and that I've been here for over 11, 12 years, and he'll see the difference. He'll see the difference in my experience, and he'll see a difference in my power.
He's excited, he's happy, and he's a little bit wealthier tonight than he would have been if Joppy had won. We'll see you in the fall, Bernard.
Thank you, Larry and George. Take care. Thanks, HBO. Undisputed History.
All right, Bernard Hopkins against Felix Trinidad sometime this fall. I can't wait. Let's go back up to James Brown.
And Jim, how strong is the Puerto Rican support for Felix Trinidad? How happy are they? I've never seen a celebration continue as long as this one is still going on here at Madison Square Garden. Felix Tito Trinidad successful, stepping up to 160 pounds. A very candid William Joppy acknowledging he underestimated Felix Trinidad and the power that he delivers,